Over 100 years ago, in a small town in Iowa, the townspeople of Van Meter would be dragged into an incident of terror and bewilderment. Sightings and attempted shootings of a creature that has never before been seen by human eyes spread throughout the community during the long October week, leading to a conclusion of gunfire and dynamite blasts. Welcome to Cryptid Corner, a series all about cryptids, and today I will tell you the story of a small town's fight against a being that can only be described as demonic. This is the story of the Van Meter Visitor. Van Meter is a town in Iowa established along the Raccoon River in 1869 and was named after Jacob Rhodes van Meter, who settled it along with the other Dutch settlers. Van Meter would be incorporated on December 29, 1877, with a population just shy of 400, serving as a small community closely tied to the railroad industry and farming. The town also had a coal mine, however this mine was never a significant focus of the local economy or the town's identity, and would be abandoned not long after its establishment. Van Meter has always been a small town, and in 1903 the population was declining due to economic and societal strains on the townsfolk, leading many to leave the small town for larger cities in pursuit of opportunity. And those who decided to stay would eventually be brought face to face with a visitor, and this visitor would be one that they would never forget. On a dark October night, a respected businessman named Eugene Griffith was in a rush to get home when he noticed a light atop a building. Believing the light to be the lantern of a trespasser, Griffith would ask what they were doing up there so late at night. But to his surprise, the light would fly across the street, rooftop to rooftop, causing Griffith to shoot at the light until it would eventually soar into the sky. The next day, Griffith would tell many people about his encounter. That definitely wasn't an excuse to explain to his wife why he was so late, and due to his standing in the community, his story became the talk of the town. And that night, Dr. Alcott, a respected physician, would be awoken by a bizarre noise, followed by light shining through his window. Alcott would go outside to investigate, being brought face to face with the visitor. The 9-foot-tall creature was hanging upside down like a bat, with massive wings equipped with large talons at the ends. Alcott would yell at and fire at the creature, causing the creature to reveal its seemingly beaked face, from which it would fire a blinding beam of light, causing Alcott to open fire, with several shots striking the beast, but none doing any damage, only causing it to flee, following its shrieking cry. The next night, Clarence Dunn, a local banker, would be alerted by a bizarre noise coming from outside. But concerned that the bank would be the visitor's next stop or the target of a robbery, Clarence would be prepared with shotgun in hand, and his fears would be confirmed with the visitor standing upright outside the window, using its light to peer into the bank. Dunn would blast the visitor, but like before, nothing pierced its skin, dazing Dunn with its light and flying into the night, with three-toed prints being found outside of the bank the morning after. The next night, several witnesses would encounter the visitor just as it has been described prior, but this time revealing a new quality. The visitor spread its wings perched atop a light post and would emit a putrid odor before being driven out by gunfire. Fed up with this bulletproof invader, the townsfolk were desperate to get rid of this creature, with some believing these encounters to be tied to noises coming from the abandoned coal mine. A party of locals would wait outside the mine at dusk just for their fears to be worsened, when not just one, but two of the creatures fitting the visitor's description would emerge from the mine and fly into the night. The party would wait until dawn, and when the creatures would return, the men would open fire, driving the beasts into the mine, despite none of the shots piercing their pitch-black skin. And with the monsters retreating into the mine, the mob would detonate dynamite at the mine's entrance, sealing it shut and trapping the visitors within, never to be seen again. The Van Meter visitor is a unique cryptid for sure. Despite several people reporting the creature, its appearance remained consistent, being a 9-foot tall, part bat, part bird like humanoid that perched atop buildings, had bulletproof skin, emitted a foul odor, and most notably, could fire a beam of light from its beak or horn like appendage. After the mine was sealed shut, no sightings occurred again, leaving the locals with memories of their encounters with the visitor and a wild story that would put the town on the map. There are several theories regarding the visitor, with one of them being that the creatures were rare life forms, possibly even aliens who decided to go to a small town in Iowa of all places and get sealed within a coal mine. Others believe this to be an elaborate prank, making use of extremely elaborate puppets, wires, and animal calls. And this does seem super unlikely, but then again, when you're in Van Meter, Iowa, what else is there to do in your free time? So this could have been an exaggerated reports of a super well done prank done by some extremely bored dudes with way too much time on their hands. But the most likely solution is that the story was made up to drive tourism. When looking at Van Meter, some of the first results that pop up are the visitor. And we all know how local legends like Mothman, Nessie, and Champy have contributed to tourism in smaller communities. And the story makes great use of the town's landmarks, mainly the mine, to make the town seem larger than it really is. The reason I went into detail regarding Van Meter's history and making note of the coal mine was to show you what the town actually was. A town built around the railroads and small-scale agriculture that just so happened to have a mine. Without disclosing this, you'd probably think that Van Meter was a small mining town that was forced to sacrifice their once bustling coal mines in order to seal away these cryptids. But in truth, Van Meter never was a large coal industry. The mines weren't that productive, and they never really went anywhere. In the end of the day, the town of Van Meter was and still is a small town. And like other small towns, it has its own local folklore, with even having a one-of-a-kind cryptid to boot. I really like the Van Meter visitor as a cryptid, not just due to how unique it is in terms of appearance and abilities, but also the folklore of the story connecting to the town's landmarks. It turns the failed mine, which could have turned the town of Van Meter into a prominent Midwestern mining town, but fell short, into the location where people of Van Meter made their stand against an otherworldly being in a battle that ended with the mine being blown shut, with the cryptids being sealed away, never to be seen again. And although this legend never turned Van Meter into a large city with a bustling tourist scene, the people that live there today have a one-of-a-kind story that they can call their own, left to them by their forefathers, the townsfolk who were there when the Van Meter visitor came to town. And that's going to do it for the Van Meter visitor. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like down below. It means a lot. Make sure to subscribe, and if you did subscribe, make sure to ring that bell so that you're notified whenever a new video drops. This was definitely a very interesting cryptid. I don't know if the next video is going to be another Cryptid Corner, maybe even another one-off. Most likely another Cryptid Corner, though, because I've really enjoyed doing these types of videos. Way shorter, way easier to research. But eventually I do plan on doing an iceberg, probably sometime late this month or early next month. Been having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, make sure if you have any ideas for any of our cryptid videos or maybe even icebergs to cover, leave a comment down below and just comment regardless. I always love reading the comments on these videos. So yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching and have yourself a good one.